The drones are one of the most lethal and dominant forces in AcceleRacers. They have seemingly unlimited resources, numbers, and technology that spans beyond the understanding of Dr. Tesla, but not of the Silencers. The main thesis that will be explored today is the theory that Gelorum and the drones worked with the Silencers at one point or another. The best piece and the biggest piece of evidence that Gelorum worked with the Silencers is through the use of the transformation mechanic. Now, what is the first instance of this transformation mechanic? Is it this? Or here?
Made it.
No, it's actually in the world race. It's first seen on screen right here. Note, there are other instances in where the slingshot is transformed, but this is the first time we actually see the physical transformation. Now, what really confused me is how did Gelorum have this technology before the Silencers? In order to explain my theory, we have to understand, describe, and interpret the root of all of this, even the prologue to the world race. We need to talk about Tesla. Tesla worked with the Silencers and stole Gig before AcceleRacers.
You're working for the Silencers.
As did Dr. Tesla, until he stole their most advanced technology, including me.
That is a fact. The next question we need to answer is how and when. Well, first of all, we know that Tesla is heavily focused on the accelerons. That is undisputable. But what would the Silencers' intentions be? Knowing the government and how military organizations are, their intentions would be to advance their own technology and also increase their military power, misaligning with Tesla's intentions to meet the accelerons and use the wheel of power
To benefit humanity.
for the good of humanity. This is where their objectives misalign and where Tesla, presumably, split off from the Silencers. Picking up fragments from the AcceleRacers wiki, it is also implied that Tesla founded the Scrum Corporation after leaving the Silencers, which means Tesla split off from the Silencers before the events of Highway 35. This means that both Tesla and the Silencers knew of the Wheel of Power before the world race. Now this is where Gelorum comes in. We know that Gelorum was already on Earth.
Do you hear it?
The Accelerons left us behind when they returned to their own world. Left us stranded here on the Earth. The Wheel of Power is the key that will open the way back to the Accelerons. But only humans could get the wheel. So the drones waited deep inside the Earth, dormant for thousands of years, waiting for humans to learn to use what the Accelerons had left them.
Even before cars were made, and as soon as they were, they went out of hibernation. We also know that Gelorum is part of CLIP, another mysterious, presumably another government organization. However, CLIP drivers and cars are different to her own drones and cars. This either means she had to create a new, urbanized drone force, or integrate some of her own drivers to be more man-made. But why would Gelorum disguise herself and her drivers? Well, if her actual presence were to be discovered by Tesla or by any other government organization, she would be seen as an immediate alien threat. But how was she disguised? How did she disguise or build a new drone army, and with what resources? How does she even have a helicopter? And how does she have the transformation technology? Well, that's where the Silencers come in.
Clip went to a great deal of trouble to give you this car.
What are those struggles, Gelorum? Well, that's when she approaches the Silencers, or vice versa. With the Silencers losing their lead informant of the Wheel of Power and the Accelerons, that's Tesla leaving the Silencers, by the way, what other person can fill that hole of knowledge about the Wheel of Power and knowledge of the Accelerons? Well, that's right, it's Gelorum. And Gelorum wants revenge on the Accelerons, which is why she also wants the Wheel of Power. And that's where both their factions' intentions align. They both want the Wheel of Power, or to meet the Accelerons. And so Gelorum and the Silencers make a deal to get the Wheel of Power, in which the Silencers provide her with the urban technology for her to do the dirty work and grab the Wheel of Power, which explains why she hired Kurt Wilde to do her own dirty work. And Gelorum, after being provided with the Silencer's technology, then integrates her own technology into the cars, which also largely explains why Kurt Wilde's car has what seems to be the prototype transformation technology, as well as the drone's blaster, and also explains why the Clip cars look man-made, and government-made at that, but also have the weapons you would find in the drone's arsenal. It also makes sense that the transformation technology wasn't fully developed to change into another completely different car, well, because it's a prototype. Another piece of evidence that the Silencers want the Wheel of Power is through Tesla.
I never should have brought the wheel out of Highway 35. And now it's too late.
Tesla seems to know that another faction wants the Wheel of Power. He's not scared but angry at himself because he brought the Wheel of Power out and now the faction is going to take away from him. He knows that the faction has resources to take him out and steal the Wheel of Power. Something like the Silencers, who was working with Gelorum. Also, by the way, this theory can explain why the Silencers knew where the drone's HQ was, because, you know, they keep tabs on everyone, and then, you know, they put like a location bug on Gelorum, and then they just spawned in the HQ, so, you know, yeah. And that is my theory of Gelorum working with the Silencers.